Is freedom the genuine article without being accompanied by justice? Now, this Mary folks, a 10-minute Torah, day 3 of special readings pertaining to Pesach or Passover. Let's continue reading from where we left off yesterday in Shemot or Exodus chapter number 12. And then today we will begin with verse 29. We're going to do a little bit of reading, so read along. And it came to be at midnight that Yahweh struck all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the livestock. Pharaoh rose up in the night, and he and all of his servants and all the Mitzrites. And there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. That's a very sobering verse. Then he called for Moshe and Aaron by night and said, Arise, go out of the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go, serve Yahweh as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds as you have said, and go. Then you shall bless me too. And the Mitzrites were strong on the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, We're all dying. The people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they had asked from the Mitzrites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites, so that they gave them what they asked. And they plundered the Mitzrites, and the children of Israel set out from Ramses to Sukkot, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them too, also flocks and herds, very much livestock. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children of Israel who lived in Mitzrayim was 430 years. And it came to be at the end of 430 years, on that same day, it came to be that all the divisions of Yahweh went out from the land of Mitzrayim. We read these words, and we read them during our Seder meals. We gloss over them. We kind of just read along, and it's just part of the story. It took us a minute, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes at the most, to read perhaps all of this. But the time elapsed that it actually took place was some hours. There was a lot of emotion displayed here during these verses. For the Mitzrites, they were stunned and shocked and overwhelmed at the sudden overnight loss of family members. Their firstborn were dead. It says that there was not a house among them where one was not dead. Later on, we will read in the Torah's rehearsing of this scene how that as Israel marched out in triumph, that the Mitzrites were on either side of them burying their dead. Matter of fact, they were so terrified, horrified by this, so panicked, that they reasoned among themselves, we're all going to die. Get them people out of here. Yah had finally broken through in their stubborn resolve, in their arrogance, in their racism, in their anti-Semitism, in their looking down upon Israel as mere cannon fodder and slaves, their bigotry. And he had broken their will, he had broken their pride, and he had humbled them to the place where they lost, and they knew they had lost. But wait a minute. Let's pause here. While they're almost throwing Israel out, and Israel is now, as a people, beginning to experience the first air of freedom. They don't know what to do with freedom. They don't have any clue how to be a free people. They don't know how to respect reasonable boundaries that free people acknowledge. This is good for the whole of us. It's like a teenager that has turned 18, legal age here in the United States. And maybe they would pack their bags and their belongings, and they've made plans. And as quick as they can after that birth date, they venture out into their adulthood. Maybe the experience of going to college is the point of their liberation. They're out from under the consistent scrutiny of mom and dad's eyes, and they're understanding, I can live the way I want to. How many a young person has failed to establish meaningful boundaries for themselves and then found themselves failing in college for lack of paying attention and effort, or not planning carefully enough with their funds and not being able to pay their utility bills and buy food, and they panic. Am I going to eat in the dark, or am I going to go hungry in the light? What am I going to do? Freedom requires a sense of propriety, a sense of accountability, a sense of preparedness. These people were not prepared in their food to go out, and so they ate unleavened bread. All by Yah's design. He had this. But he brought them out, and brought them out suddenly. But he did not allow them to leave without justice. They had served hundreds of years without being paid. They were looked upon as those only worthy to be beaten into submission and forced into the labor that builds our society. You talk about taxation. They were taxed to the nth degree and had no or little benefit from it. Yah made sure that justice was served, and that they were paid in gold and in silver and in garments, precious items, perhaps jewels. They had supplies, anything and everything that they wanted. The Mitzrites gave them all that they could request in order to get them to hurry up and leave. Just take it and go. Well, they got paid. Yah made sure that they got paid. Justice was served in the death of the firstborn. Yah hit them hard with the scales of justice. The reason that this is important to us, we must also understand that as we are living our lives currently wherever we are in this world, as a set-apart people given to Yahweh, walking in covenant with Him, there are times, instances where we feel like we have been put upon, taken advantage of. Things did not go fairly. They did not go justly. They did not go right. And we feel captured and held back and enslaved. Chains of varieties of our mind and spirit and relations fall upon us and hold us back. There is a day of freedom coming. There's a sound of a trumpet that's going to split this earth. Our King will appear. Our chains will fall off. And make no mistake about it, in that day, as Yeshua appears, and He is our deliverer, justice will be served. And we will not only be free, but justice will stand for us as well. May Yah hasten that day. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.